Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Athens community are minutes away from hearing expert opinions on what to do with the high school building. Good evening, I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Thanks for joining us. The school's Board of Education is in a meeting right now to hear a recommendation on what the district should do about the building. For more information on the meeting, we go out to Justin Holbrook, who's live at Athens High School. Justin?
The meeting is starting in just a few minutes, and a group of experts, including an architect, are about to make recommendations on what to do with the Athens High School building. Now, the first option is to make renovations to the existing structure, and that's going to cost about $24 million. The second option is to build a brand new building, and that's going to cost about $30 million, so it's about a $6 million difference. So why the need for the multi-million-dollar change? Well, in a facility test from this year, only 4 of the 26 issues were listed as satisfactory. The other 22 issues were listed as needing repair or replacement. But it's important to note that Superintendent Tom Gibbs did say they don't intend on making a decision tonight, and they actually have until September 30th to decide, so quite a bit of time between now and when that decision could be made. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Mackenzie. Reporting live for WOUB, I'm Justin Holbrook.
Thanks, Justin. Some of the areas that need replacement at the school include the heating system, roof, electrical systems, and windows. Nearly 300 pounds of cocaine worth nearly $20 million. That's how much cocaine OU police are reporting was found at OU's airport yesterday. A plane from Canada was forced to land after experiencing mechanical difficulties. Homeland Security notified OUPD that a plane without proper authorization would be landing. OUPD and the Sheriff's Department, along with agents from Customs, Borders, and Protection, met the plane at OU's airport. The customs agent detained the suspects, seized the drugs, and transported them to Columbus. Homeland Security is now leading the investigation. And another Ohio airport is a part of an international drug investigation. More than 80 shipments with 35 pounds of fentanyl have been seized at the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky airport over the past month. The packages were sent from China and addressed to individuals from 17 states and Canada. Authorities say the investigation is ongoing. Ohio Health O'Bleness reached an agreement with Athens County to include a drug test as part of a sexual assault victims examination. The Athens News reports the drug testing of a victim's blood and urine will only be performed with consent. The hospital says the procedure will help collect more evidence and that victims will not be charged if drugs are found in their system. President Donald Trump's proposed budget cuts would eliminate funding for the National Foundation for Arts. Each year, the foundation provides Athens with tens of thousands of dollars in federal support. That money not only supports arts, but those with developmental disabilities and local libraries. Cutting those programs would result in lost jobs, programs, and institutions like the Dairy Barn. Newswatch reporter Brooke Davis tells us how these cuts will affect the arts in Athens.
The Dairy Barn was founded here in Athens in 1979 to create community outreach programs.
The National Endowment for the Arts, through special grant and/or through the Arts Council, that funding helps us with administration, programming, and if those get cut, it's going to impact rural arts centers and rural arts more than urban arts.
Budget cuts would affect more than just the Dairy Barn.
If you have an activity that's out, let's say at the Dairy Barn, most likely a family is going to go out and spend money elsewhere afterwards or before, and it just branches. It's a cyclical effect, and if you stop one thing, others will be affected in some way or another.
With fewer programs, residents will be forced to go elsewhere.
Growing up like I did, we were going somewhere maybe to Athens, only 20 minutes away from where I grew up, was a treat, and now it's just something I do all the time. But if we start losing these events, we'll be going to bigger cities trying to find these activities, and that money goes away. That's more time on the road when we could be right here.
Thanks, Brooke. If program cuts are made, the Dairy Barn alone will lose more than $30,000 in funds, and other institutions will be forced to shut down. The Dairy Barn is holding an event tomorrow from 3 to 8 p.m. to help local artists promote their work. For more information, visit our website at woub.org/student media. The Athens bike path is headed in the right direction as the city plans to repair the bikeway spur near Columbus Road. The Athens News reported that the area was damaged by wintertime flooding more than a month ago and is projected to aim to repair the concrete while armoring the area against further damage. 80% of the funding for the $14,000 project will come from leftover funds the Ohio Department of Transportation did not use while building the bike path extension in December.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Jenny Garecki. Luckily, we will not be seeing that much rain here in Athens over the next coming days. Looking at the photo behind me, we see this photo was sent in by a meteorology student here at OU, Cameron Saliga. This is showing ominous skies from the thunderstorm that passed through the region earlier today around 9:15 this morning. After the thunderstorm passed through, we saw clearing skies, sun started to peek through, and it warmed up considerably, showing that right now here in Athens, we are around 78 degrees, so where we were this morning compared to where we are now is a lot warmer. Going around the region, we see that temperatures are cooler up in our northern area with 74 in Columbus and 73 in Newark. Going farther south, we hit 80 in Ironton. Over to you, Mackenzie.
Ohio is also fighting prescription drug abuse from the user side. Ohio Governor John Kasich announced new limits on prescribing painkillers. Under the new rules, doctors will be limited to 7-day prescriptions for painkillers. Right now, doctors can write prescriptions for up to a 90-day supply. These measures are meant to combat a prescription painkiller epidemic that killed more than 3,000 Ohioans in 2015. The Ohio House okays a bill to eliminate Ohio's renewable energy requirements. The bill would lift mandates requiring utility companies to generate or buy and sell a part of their power from renewable sources. It would also eliminate penalties for non-compliance. Governor Kasich vetoed a similar bill last session, but legislators are trying again. The bill now goes to the Ohio Senate. The county auditor in Columbus is the second Republican to join the race for Ohio treasurer. Franklin County Auditor Clarence Mingo launched his campaign today. He describes himself as a fiscal conservative. Mingo faces State Representative Robert Sprague of Findlay in the Republican primary next year. No Democrat has entered the race to replace Treasurer John Mandel, who is running for U.S. Senate. West Virginia's Senate has voted against repealing the requirement that motorcyclists wear helmets. The bill was vetoed down 19-15 after senators cited data showing more head injuries for riders who crashed without helmets. The bill would have applied to only those who had a motorcycle license for at least 5 years or passed a safety program and have $15,000 of medical insurance. West Virginia's Senate has voted to authorize changes in natural gas drilling. The bill approved 19-14 authorizes natural gas producers to drill when 3/4 of those with royalty rights agree, and an effort has been made to negotiate with owners of the property. This is a priority of the West Virginia Oil and Natural Gas Association. The West Virginia Surface Owners' Rights Organization is in opposition to the bill. Vice President Mike Pence breaks a tie in the Senate for a second time, and things are getting a little cloudy in Washington. We'll clear up what's going on when Newswatch returns.
Students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Russia back in the spotlight on Capitol Hill today while the Senate Intelligence Committee digs for answers in its first hearing on Russia's meddling in the U.S. election. The House Intel Committee is stalled on their probe into the topic. All this unfolding while the White House is showing willingness to work with both committees. Here to unpack all of this is Kristen Holmes.
The committee will engage in an activity that's quite rare for us.
Storm clouds gathering in Washington today.
An open hearing on an ongoing critical intelligence question.
As the Senate Intelligence Committee convenes its first public hearing on Russian meddling in the 2016 election and if there was collusion between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin.
We are seeking to determine if there is an actual fire, but there's clearly a lot of smoke.
Vladimir Putin vehemently denying allegations this morning.
You and the Russian government did never try to influence the outcome of the U.S. presidential election.
The Americans said, no. Watch my lips. He said no.
But the cloud of Russian intrigue isn't the only thing bogging down the White House. A new Gallup poll showing President Trump's approval ratings dipping to an abysmal 35%, coming on the heels of the Republicans' healthcare defeat. The president venting his frustrations, lashing out on Twitter against those he believes stood in his way. The Freedom Caucus will hurt the entire Republican agenda if they don't get on the team. And fast. We must fight them and Dems in 2018. This as Deputy Chief of Staff Katie Walsh leaves the White House for a nonprofit job. And with a daunting list of congressional showdowns on the horizon, including a potential government shutdown and the vote on Supreme Court pick Judge Neil Gorsuch, it's going to take bipartisanship for the administration to weather the storm. In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
We'll continue to follow these stories and bring you more details as they happen. Vice President Mike Pence appeared on the Senate floor today to cast a tie-breaking vote. Pence cast the 51st vote to begin the debate on whether to repeal an Obama-era rule preventing states from defunding health care providers for political reasons. Among those providers is Planned Parenthood, which has long been a target for Republicans as it performs, among other services, abortions. 2 Republicans joined all 48 Democrats in voting against the starting debate.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative and the motion to proceed is agreed to.
This is the second time Pence has cast a tie-breaking vote in the Senate. The United States is enlisting AT&T to build the first nationwide broadband network to help first responders. The network will streamline communications for America's police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical workers. The service will help responders in major disasters as well as day-to-day operations. The U.S. Secretary of Commerce made the announcement today.
Today is a landmark day for public safety across the country and is a prime example of the incredible progress we can make through public-private partnerships.
Responders have long wanted an emergency network to help them with disasters and crisis situations. Many systems often overload and become unusable, limiting how much responders can help. On Wall Street today, major stocks increased significantly. Here a look at stocks of local interest.
When will we hear thunderstorms tonight? Plus, are we in for another pleasant weekend? That and my extended forecast next on Newswatch.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Jenny Gurecki. Right here in Athens, we are at 78 degrees under partly cloudy skies, which we did see a warm front come through earlier today, which is why our winds are out of the south at 10 miles an hour with the humidity around 39%. So we're at a dry heat right now. Looking around the region, we are an 80 in Ironton, 78 in Jackson, but as we move farther north in our region, we see 73 in Newark and 70 in Cambridge at our cool spot. We hit a high of actually 80 degrees today. It warmed up a little bit, with our normal being around 57, so again, above average. We were only a couple degrees off from our record back set in 1989. With our low was around average at 40, with the normal being around 36. Going throughout the night, we won't really decrease in temps that much, from 67 at 8, going down to about 57 around 4. We will see the increased chance of thunderstorms around midnight, with the low being around 54 tonight. Scattered rain early. We will see development of thunderstorms due to a bunch of abundant moisture coming up since the warm front has passed, with winds out of the south at 5 miles an hour. Around the region, we see pretty normal lows, 55 in Ironton as well as Ripley, and up in our state's capital of Columbus as well at 55 degrees. Our precipcast shows the low that was around it started out around Texas and it has moved farther north, which will be affecting our region tonight into tomorrow. We will see, once the cold front starts to move closer, we will see more of the rain chance start to increase. Going out for the bus, we will be around 54 degrees, so you won't need the jacket, but you definitely will need the umbrella because we may have rain showers and can't rule out a potential rumble of thunder. Going throughout the day, we will only warm up to around 61 degrees as we go through the day due to the abundant amount of rain that we could see tomorrow. And tomorrow's high will be around 62 degrees, rain showers. You will need to keep the umbrella handy because there's a lot of moisture coming up from the Gulf with winds around south at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs for tomorrow, low 60s for around the region. We'll even be at 59 up in Cambridge, 63 down in Ironton, and 64 in Ripley. Looking at our week ahead, we see for the weekend we will be a pretty mild, pleasant weekend, but as we go into Sunday night, we will see the next chance of rain come through with another system that will move through Wednesday, bringing an 80% chance of rain with a high around 66. Over to you, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Jenny. Weight loss can be very difficult, especially if you have a lot of pounds to lose, but the payoff is worth it. And the young man you're about to meet is proof. Tamika Jones has his story in today's Health Minute.
This is Justin Green, and in 2016, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. At the time, he weighed nearly 400 pounds. And here he is now.
I've lost 120 pounds so far. He recommended being more active and, changing my diet.
Justin's lifestyle changes didn't come easily.
I probably eat less than a quarter of what I used to. Nothing fried, raw vegetables.
We always encourage diabetics to eat, reduce their calories and reduce their carb intake, but also eat only when they have to, when they're hungry. That overeating leads to uncontrolled blood sugar.
Justin says his weight loss has improved his overall health. And he no longer has to take medication or check his blood sugar.
The diagnosis was technically reversed, but I consider myself a non-practicing diabetic.
So it's not uncommon for patients who are very well motivated, who have lost significant weight and have changed their lifestyle, to have a reversal in their blood sugar.
Justin's advice for anyone trying to manage their diabetes is never give up.
Feel better in the process, and maybe you can bring somebody else along with you.
Tamika Jones, CNN, Atlanta.
The best prevention for diabetes is being healthy and physically active.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. We have a lot of Ohio action to get into, including with the softball team coming off of an impressive sweep. Stay here to find out where the team is heading to tomorrow. And the Bobcats showed out at Ohio University's largest pro day, including 27 scouts. Stay tuned to find out how one Bobcat feels about showcasing his skills at Pro Day. All up next on Newswatch. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
Welcome back. I'm Kellyanne Stitz. Ohio's football pro day happened yesterday, and the turnout made it in the largest program's history. 27 scouts from the NFL came to watch the Bobcats showcase their skills. Defensive end Terrell Basham and linebacker Blair Brown were in the spotlight. The two are the most highly scouted prospects to come of Ohio in years. Wide receivers Sebastian Smith and Jordan Reed had a good performance as well. Smith even has a tape to show the new scouts, including his 9 receptions and 156 yards accumulated last season. But Basham is projected to go in the second round of the draft, and he could not be more excited about his pro day. On to some softball action. Following last week's sweep of Toledo at home, Ohio hits the road for a weekend series against Western Michigan. Ohio has had a very strong start in 2017 with a 22-6 record on the season thus far, and Ohio heads into the weekend series riding a 9-game winning streak, while Western Michigan has lost 4 games in a row. The Bobcats are leading in the MAC batting average in pitching and in infielding, and ranking 23rd in the NCAA in win percentage. First pitch of the series is set for 3 p.m. tomorrow. Over to the green, Ohio women's golf team is hitting the road to compete in the 2017 Eastern Kentucky Colonial Classic. The Classic begins tomorrow morning at 8:30 and will last until Saturday. 13 teams are competing, including MAC Ball State. Ohio competed in the tournament last year and finished in 4th, with 4 Bobcats finishing in the top 20. Haley Horenowich led the team last year with a tie for 5th place and a 2-day total of 228 with a plus 12. Switching to the pros, the Cavaliers are heading to Cleveland to redeem themselves after a tough loss to the Spurs on Monday. The Cavs are heading into tonight's game losing 4 of their last 6 games. But as postseason approaches, head coach Tyronn Lue is only focused on resting his key players for the team's long-term goals starting after tonight's game. Kyle Korver will not see the court tonight due to an injured left foot. However, Iman Shumpert will return tonight after missing the previous 2 games with right knee soreness. On the flip side, the Bulls are looking for a win in order to increase their playoff chances. They sit 11 for 2 games out of a playoff spot. Tip-off is set for 8 p.m. Onto the ice, the Blue Jackets are back in action as they take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Coming off of a 3-1 win against Buffalo Tuesday, another win would help their climb for the top of the Metropolitan Division. Jackets remain at the number 2 spot, but are only 5 points behind the Capitals for first place. The Jackets are having an impressive month, only allowing 2 goals or fewer in the past 6 of their 7 games. But despite the strong defense, head coach John Tortorella is concerned with their offense. No one has scored more than 1 goal in the past 4 games, with an exception of forward Brandon Saad, and their game is set for 7 p.m. tonight. I'm Kellyanne Stitz, and that's a wrap for sports. Back to you, Jenny.
For the weekend, we see that we will have a pretty ideal weekend, but as we end the weekend, we will see the next chance of rain come into the picture to begin your work week with a high of 66 on Monday with a chance of an 80% chance. Over to you, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Jenny, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.